We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. This is another episode of the Worst Case Scenario podcast. We are here to review week 8 and preview week 9. We're a few days late. We've already missed the game, but we already know who we was going to pick. But I am your host, Bill. With me is Bennett. Say what up.
Hey, yo.
And from his remote, unknown location, we have D-Lo. Go ahead and say what's up, D-Lo.
Yo, yo.
Guys, what'd you guys think about last week's action?
I was crazy, man. I mean, teams started to come alive this week, man. I mean, you seen the Browns beat the Ravens. You seen who was it that beat the Vikings?
The Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. So, I mean, and they got their all-star core receivers back now. So, I mean, yeah, dude, teams started to come alive this week a little bit. It looks like the Browns could actually, be an okay team under Jameis Winston. I mean, he's going to cost them a couple games with his interceptions, but at the same time, he can actually get the ball down the field like something that Deshaun Watson couldn't do. So.
Well, here's something I would like to say. Well, we'll start off with how we did the picks last week. Coming up at the tail bottom of the picks was D-Lo going 10-6. Bennett was 11-5, and yours truly was 12-4 last week. The first time I believe I won it this year. So
I know we started late with the picks and everything. You and D-Lo, I think, started a week ahead of me, but from now on we get totals too with these. Not right now, but next week we start getting to like totals.
For the whole season,
league.
Yeah,
just in the league.
Yeah, I think D-Lo's been.
Yeah,
D-Lo's been kicking
as far
ass.
as I remember, he's been hitting more than us.
All right, well, we're gonna go and start with.
Why is that, D-Lo? You got some inside information?
I'd like to know.
a little bit of insider trading. You know what I'm saying?
Insider trading. That's what I'm talking about. I'll get into that with you. I thought I meant like insider information. Like you got maybe Shefty on your contacts, maybe.
He ain't got no Shefty.
Hell no. I got Shahid Khan on my payroll.
Shad. It's a Shad Khan, but
he likes to say it, Shahid. Let him say Shahid.
All right, well, let's go ahead and kick it off.
It sounds more Middle Eastern to say Shahid.
Well, let's kick it off with the Rams 30-20 win over the Vikings. It was an upset. Vikings now have lost 2 straight. They could lose a 3rd straight this week when they play. I think they're playing the Colts this week. So, but in that game, Sam Darnold, he wasn't horrible. 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. But I think what made the difference was Cooper Kupp. I think he was just
and Puka Nacua.
Yeah, both of them returning.
That was
Nacua having 7 receptions, 106 yards, and Kupp adding 5 for 51 and 1 touchdown.
They look like a totally different team with those guys on the field, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they always have the running game with Williams. Williams ran for 97 yards on 23 attempts.
Williams killing it this year, but with them guys coming in, you're getting more diverse. You got more weapons, more threats, and the defense has to prepare for all that. And it's hard to cover all that, man.
Stafford was 279 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 1 pick. So when he has his 2 main receivers and that running game is going, the Rams are a good team. They just was in that funk when they lost both their receivers. D-Lo, what'd you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with Kupp and Nacua coming back, the Rams are looking like the Rams of old, man, and so they're going to be a viable team come playoffs if they can stay healthy, man. So,
all right, D-Lo, what's your opinion on the Vikings losing 2 straight after starting out? They start out 5-0. They're 5-2.
Well, here's the deal with the Vikings, man. Is they got a good, solid defense. Their defense is their defense has been kind of leaky the past couple weeks. But the beginning of the season, their defense started out monstrous, dude, and their defense has actually been kind of leaky the last couple weeks. But I don't know, man. I keep going back to, and even though his stats don't look bad, I keep going back to Sam Darnold is who we thought he was, man. He's just not. He's not a game-changing quarterback. He's not a guy that's going to lead that winning drive. You know what I mean? Like it just
the ball over.
No, he's not. But
that's what D-Lo means. He's a game manager. But when you put a game manager in there with.
You're going to have a lot of 3 and outs in those moments, man. When a game manager's on.
You got Addison, Jefferson. You got
Hawkinson's back this week.
Hawkinson's back, but who's the running back from Green
Jones?
Bay? Yeah, Jones. You got that. Even when you're a game manager, if you're average, you're going to look above average with those kind of playmakers.
Was this just a thing where
plus their line's pretty solid?
Maybe they underestimated the Rams. The Rams got the receivers back, but they were just underestimating the Rams. The Rams came out and just surprised them. But it is a 2.
I'm saying that the Vikings are a good team, man, but I just don't believe that Darnold is a good quarterback, man. I mean, he's just a guy. He's just a guy, yeah.
All right, what do you guys say this week, though? If they come out and they lose this week's game, is it we got a problem? Is it
yeah. If they lose 3 in a row, they're definitely gonna be, they're gonna start to sound the alarms for sure. So.
All right, we'll move on to the next game. We had my Jets getting. It's sad, ladies and gentlemen, what happened to them. I'm not going to talk too much about them. We'll talk about it on the Jet Up Bear Down podcast. But New England getting the surprise 25-22 victory. They scored with 22 seconds left to go up. There wasn't much the Jets could do. Everybody comes down.
I wasn't surprised. Who me and D'Lo picked?
On that game, we all chose the Jets.
Yeah.
Rodgers wasn't bad in that game. He had 233 yards. 17-28. He had 2 touchdowns, no pick. He was only sacked one time. And in this, I saw there was a stat. I'm going to butcher it somewhat, but the Jets won the time of possession. They won the turnover battle. And there was another stat with it. And teams, when doing that, were like 728 wins, 0 losses. Now it's 728 wins and 1 loss when teams are up like that because the Jets dropped the ball with 20 seconds to go and allowed them to score. Breece Hall had 80 yards rushing. Garrett Wilson is he's really turned it up, especially since they signed Davante Adams. Like some people thought his stats were going to go down, but man, he had 5 catches, 113 yards. He had no touchdowns. Davante Adams caught 4 catches for 54 yards.
I didn't think his stats were going to go down. Rodgers is a check down quarterback.
I think D'Lo, we had talked about this because they said a lot of teams were hitting up the Jets after the Davante Adams trade, asking if Wilson was available, which is why the hell you would trade Wilson, even though you signed or you traded for Davante Adams. That's nuts to me. You know what I'm saying? Wilson.
Oh, and it's obviously becoming the trend.
Contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's obviously becoming the trend in the NFL to do what you can do to try to put 2 number 1s on the outside. Like, like I said, the Bears got Keenan Allen and DJ Moore as our guys.
Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard has had a lot of touchdowns. He's been like that safety blanket for Rodgers.
He went on the IR this week, didn't he?
Yes. He didn't play in Thursday night's game. But at the time, what I'm saying is the 2 leading receivers was Wilson and Lazard. You know what I'm saying? Now Lazard is out, but he's Adams is moving up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he will go later on about his game on Thursday because the game's already happened and we've already watched it. But also in that game, Brissett, who came in for replacement of May, ended up throwing 132 yards. No picks, no touchdowns. He was only sacked once. May was 3 of 6 for 23 yards when he went out of the game. There wasn't much else to talk about when it came to the Patriots. They pulled it out at the end. So you guys got anything to say about this game before we move on?
Nah, man. I mean, it's another one of those games. It's another one of those games that the Jets probably should have definitely won, but they didn't live up to their talent that week. And I guess the big thing is Jacoby Brissett's back in now as the starter in New England. I just don't see this Jared Mayo experiment lasting very long, man. They have a winning culture in New England, and
it's you're halfway through the year. Give it a damn chance, man.
No. I mean, he'll probably make it through.
He's good. I'm just saying, give it a chance.
Well, this is the thing. It's Stroud,
he'll probably make it through the year, but I think he's on the hot seat. Definitely, I think if he
this
loses,
ain't Dallas, brother. This ain't Dallas.
Dallas. I mean, they probably should have fired McCarthy already.
Hot seat, 8 games in. This ain't Dallas.
I think it is, bud. I mean, I think they have a winning culture in New England, and if they don't turn make at least make some significant improvements, their
team is garbage. It was garbage last year.
I agree. I don't know what the deal was coming into this season. I don't know if their back was against the salary cap or what it was, but
if Kraft's going to do that, and Belichick's not there being the general manager, and you're going to have a coaching carousel, then I mean,
no, I don't expect the coach. I expect him to go get somebody with experience, and that's something that Mayo didn't have. I mean, he was under Belichick, but he didn't have head coaching experience. So
you're already out on May, but it's one of those things where, all right, so Stroud last year
comes out.
Mayo, yeah. But Stroud comes out last year and he killed it. He had a great season. I think he was rookie of the year or something like that. But
yeah, for sure.
He was dominant.
But it was the greatest rookie season in NFL history for a quarterback.
This year they have tape on him and he struggled this year.
Yeah.
And on paper,
but I mean he lost his top 2 guys as well, just like Stafford did.
Had talent. So but they still have Mixon. They still have Tank Dell. They still have Schultz. But
Tank Dell is not a number 1 receiver, bro.
Why?
Tank Dell is a slot type receiver.
I saw what he did because we're doing this after the Thursday night game this week, but we saw what he did there. He made catches. He did excellent last year, but now people are like, I don't know, Stroud is that good. So if we're already down on Stroud this year, I see where D'Lo's coming from.
No, I'm not down on Stroud at all, man. I think that they'll write that shit.
Guys, he seemed to struggle this year compared to the numbers and the stats that he put up last year.
I agree.
So all right.
And that's just but that's just like Bennett said though, man. That's all about getting some tape on a guy. Now the ball is back in Stroud's court to make his adjustments and get back into the form, or at least somewhere close to the form that he was last year. You know what I mean? That's how this shit works, man. It's a constant chess match, man.
Yeah. So. All right, on to the next game, man. We had the Philadelphia Eagles getting a 37-17 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. In this game, Hurts threw for 236 yards and 1 touchdown. No interceptions. He wasn't sacked in the game.
Hurts.
Once again, Barkley running 22 times for 108 yards. No touchdowns. Hurts runs the ball 10 times, 37 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he went off on the ground.
They had Devontae Smith had 6 catches, 85 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown had 5 catches, 84 yards, 0 touchdowns. And then when it came to the Bengals, we had Burrows throwing for 234 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 1 time. Cincinnati had no rushing. Their leading rusher was Brown with 32 yards. Leading receiver was nobody who we thought we would say. It was their tight end who had 7 catches, 73 yards, no touchdowns. Chase adding 9 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. What's your guys' thought on this game?
Eagles are bad.
Did I take the Eagles in these picks?
In this game, I took the Eagles, D'Lo took the Bengals, and Bennett took the Eagles.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm still reluctant to trust Jalen Hurts.
I'm reluctant to trust Burrow.
Hurts.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I don't know if Hurts' struggles are due to him or if they're more due to Sirianni's play calling. But either way, man, Good win by the Eagles. They needed it. They needed it. They needed it to.
Are you pissed if you're Barkley that you run that ball for 107 yards, 108 yards, no touchdowns, but then every time they're down there, Hurts gets the ball and runs in for 3 touchdowns?
What do you mean? Are you pissed? Did they win the game?
Yeah, not if you get the not if you get the W. Not if you get the W. Not if you get the W. If you get an L, and the dude has all them rushing touchdowns, then yeah, I could see it. But if you get the W, no.
I think that the Bengals' issue is that they should have never let Mixon go.
I agree.
Moss and Moss left the game after having, I don't know if he left the game, but he had 5 carries for 11 yards. Moss is not the guy. They're struggling with running the ball in Cincy, and I think they should have never let Mixon go. Should have paid the guy, gave him what he wanted.
I don't think the narrative is so much with the Bengals in this game as it is with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are back.
Well, okay, with this though, the Bengals.
Did you see the press conference afterwards? I got a brief. I got a brief go of it. So when the Eagles are winning or losing at home, a lot of times that's a tough fan base, but a lot of times those people up there, they don't give a shit whether you're winning or losing unless you're playing the way they want you to.
Tough. Dude, they have replaced the Raiders as the worst fan base in the NFL. They are ruthless. D'Lo said he would go watch a baseball game anywhere but in Philadelphia. They are the worst crowd.
I don't have any desire to go to California, but I don't want to go to Philly at all.
Yeah, he said Philadelphia was not one. Raiders that used to be Raiders, they would fuck you up. You come to the Coliseum or wherever they were playing in fucking whatever shit stadium they were playing in Oakland. In Vegas, nobody's scared of them anymore. But the Eagles fan base, we've talked about this before. They once beat the shit out of Santa Claus with beer bottles. Yeah. I think that is why you cannot have glass sold at NFL games anymore. It's for the treatment that they did to Santa Claus with beer bottles.
So I can respect that.
So Bennett, insane.
Let me get back to my point real quick. The Eagles are they're getting better. They're getting to be who we thought they were. The fan base is tough on no matter what, whether winning or losing, unless they're doing exactly what they want them to do. But they are winning, and this week they look really good. But the little thing that I call a little snippet, it wasn't even a press conference, which I said I was wrong about that. He was in the coaching room talking to the team about the win afterwards, and he said, telling the team, we don't listen to all the negative stuff. We do not listen to that. And right now they're hyping us up in the media. The fans are hyping us up. We're not going to listen to that either. We're not going to listen to either one. We're going to go down there. We're going to put our heads down and we're going to go to work no matter what, week in, week out. These guys, this fan base didn't like this guy. This guy is absolutely the guy that I'd want on my side.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what, ignore the negative, ignore the positive. We're going to work. We're here to punch the clock and hit you in your fucking mouth.
So in saying that, Bennett, in saying that that the Eagles are back, do you believe that the Bengals are going to end up cleaning house at the end of the season? Zach Taylor's going to lose his job. I don't know who their GM is. Do you think that all of them are gone or what?
No, I don't think they're going to do that. They're way too talented to do that. They might do at most, they might do a coaching switch. Burrow's numbers have been down, but I just brought this up, I think, on the last podcast or the podcast before that. Every quarterback's numbers have been down. It looks more like the 90s quarterbacks instead of the 2000s, 2010s, where you're throwing for 300, 400 yards. Instead, you're throwing for about 270 yards.
I'd say it's on the average. It's like 250 is the average.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I brought it up. Maybe the defense is caught up. Hopefully they did, and hopefully the NFL don't see this, acknowledge it, because the scores are still staying the same, which is what they wanted, was more scoring. Hopefully the NFL don't change anything. And I mean,
did you say if the NFL don't see this podcast? Oh, the NFL's going to see this podcast.
No, not the podcast. I mean, they don't see this change to where
They got to be seeing it, man.
They got to be seeing the numbers, but who gives a shit? Because all they were originally what they called out, what they brought up was they were concerned about the scoring. Scoring was too low. Scoring is still kind of what it was. The numbers have changed for passing, but don't like I hated it when they changed so many goddamn rules to favor the offense, especially the quarterback position.
They still do. That's
no, and I understand they know that they do that for protection. But don't do it to make it favorable for the fucking offense to beat the defense. Seems like the defense has caught on to something here over the years, and it's more competitive.
Yeah.
And I like that. Drive in, drive out, drive in, drive out.
8 weeks in, I think we've only had one guy that's thrown for over 500 yards. That was Kirk Cousins in that game, the first game between the
Kirk.
But I can't even remember too many guys throwing for 400 yards in a game this year.
No, I don't remember any of them. Every time we bring this shit up, it's like this guy threw for 260, this guy threw for 230, this guy threw for 270. But that is it. You know what? I like it. It's not flamboyant, but I like it.
That's all right. Anything else you want to add on the Eagles versus Bengals game, D'Lo?
Nah, man. Nah, I mean, Bengals are disappointing. Hopefully the Eagles, we'll see if the Eagles can come back and compete with Washington for that division. That's it, man.
All right. Well, let's head on to the next game. We had the Packers picking up a 30-27 win over Jacksonville. Jacksonville loses by another close game in this game. Lawrence threw for 308 yards.
There you go.
2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked once. Leading rusher there was Bigsby, running for 78 yards on 18 attempts. Leading receiver for them was Brian Thomas Jr., 3 receptions, 60 yards,
Man,
1
is that
touchdown.
Is that kid a stud or what?
Yeah, I got him in one of my fantasy leagues, so he's been.
Yeah,
didn't see him coming.
On the Packers side of the ball, Love throwing for 196 yards, which we used to always say like 100 some yards. That ain't shit, but this year in the NFL, it's a normal stat. He threw no touchdowns, 1 interception. Malik Willis stepped in for the Packers, going 4 for 5 for 56 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 1 time. Jacobs running the ball 25 times for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I like this. My old NFL. I like it.
And their leading receiver was their tight end Kraft, 3 receptions, 78 yards, and 1 touchdown. What's your thoughts on this game, D'Lo?
Again, man, the Packers just continue to pull it out. They, I don't know, man. I don't think they're as good of a team as they're playing. I think they're playing up. I don't think that they're. I don't think the guys are disappointing right now for that team. I think that they're actually playing up. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the Packers end up laying out at the end of the season. But
well, with that win, the Packers moved to 6-2. Jacksonville moved to 2-6.
Yeah, Jacksonville definitely. I mean, they're going to need to do some changes at the end of this year. I heard that Christian Kirk got traded to the Ravens, I think.
No, that was the dude from the Panthers that got traded.
Deontay.
Oh, Deontay Johnson. Okay. Yeah. And somebody else that got traded, it was a Patriots pass rusher. He got traded to the Chiefs. It was the guy that basically took over for Judon as their leading pass rusher after Judon got traded to Atlanta.
Anything you want to add in on this game, Bennett?
No, I think it's pretty cut and dry. D'Lo cut through everything, so I don't think I have anything to add. I mean,
do you guys know when the trading deadline is?
It's coming up, man. I don't have the exact date.
Election. It's Tuesday.
Really?
Okay.
It's
that close, huh?
Yeah, November 5th.
Yeah, it's
that
Tuesday,
is
election day.
So we're gonna put our boy back in office on then, and And also maybe the Jets will add a little something to their team. That'd be nice, huh? Real nice.
The fuck's that got to do with anything?
Which one?
Either one.
Well,
nobody gives a shit about the Jets. No one gives a shit about the fucking election.
We do. Some of us do. I was telling him, D-Lo, that I spent most of my week listening to the Delphi trials as you did too. You there, D-Lo?
Yeah, man. What?
Okay. I said I got done telling Bennett earlier. I said he was asking me what podcast I listened to. I said I was heavily invested in the Delphi murder trials this past week.
Oh yeah, man. Me and Brooke have been on that shit all week. So
yeah,
that's the reason why I'm wearing the hood and the sunglasses.
You look more like the Unabomber.
We need,
Whoa,
Biggs looks more like the Delphi murderer.
I just figure I'd wear this get up since we're in a bunker.
Yeah, Biggs looks more like the guy that would have done that shit in Delphi.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on.
On to the next one, man. A big win. Another team showing that they may be the best team in the NFL. The Detroit Lions getting a 52-14 win over the Tennessee Titans. And in this game, for the Titans, we'll start off with their good. Rudolph was 22 of 38, 266 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked 1 time. Pollard ran the ball 20 times for 94 yards. Rudolph added another 4 yards for 29 yards, 4 carries for 29 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Ridley really coming on strong, 10 catches, 143 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, but really showing his dominance there now that he's the main receiver, the number 1 guy there. For Detroit,
I mean, who else do they have, man? You know what I mean? So
well, they have their tight end there, but he only had 2 catches for 14 yards. It wasn't much else besides for Pollard, their running back. For Detroit, we had Goff going 12 of 15 for 85 yards, 3 touchdowns. They also threw in Hooker, who was 2 for 3 for 6 yards, and David Montgomery throwing a pass for a touchdown, for a 3-yard touchdown. Gibbs running the ball 11 times, 127 yards and a touchdown.
Hey, go back. Hold on.
Yes.
They won the game 52-14.
Yep.
And give me again.
Galtz threw for 85 yards, 3 touchdowns.
What the fuck? Did every pass go for a touchdown nearly?
Well,
what was his completions?
He had 12 completions and 3 touchdowns.
So 25% of his passes went for touchdowns.
That's right. Well, the Russian was on, like I said. Gibbs 11 carries.
This game was crazy, man. They said that they're one of the only teams to score 50 points and put up less than 250 yards in offense.
Yep. Their leading receiver there was Laporta, 6 catches, 48 yards, and 1 touchdown. Touchdown catches by Laporta, Raymond, Brock Wright, St. Brown. St. Brown only had 2 catches, 7 yards, had 1 touchdown.
How many turnovers?
Goff had 2 fumbles. One was recovered.
What? No, it should be. I want to hear about fucking the Titans turnovers. How did they lose? How did they lose a fumble and still score 52 points?
Let me go look at it. All right. For the fumbles for them, Ridley fumbled 1 time. It was lost. Their tight end, Okinawa, fumbled 1 time and it was lost. And Jackson fumbled 1 time, but it was kept.
19 interceptions.
Well, let me go look at the interceptions. Let's see what the
fuck. What the fuck?
Detroit had 2 interceptions.
I didn't watch this game. I seen the score on the TV, but what the fuck happened here?
Well, the defense scored 1 touchdown, but they also Raymond returned a punt return for a touchdown.
All right, starting to flesh its way out.
Let's see. In kicking, they kicked 1 field goal for Detroit, and the dude kicked 7 of 7 extra points.
That's 21 points.
So, just Detroit all around, just coming in. They only had 1 sack.
All around lucky. Is that what that is? They have a good running game.
They have an excellent running game, but then they
This
also
dude that throws for less than 100 yards, but 25% of his passes are for touchdowns.
well they did,
So what was they fucking? Did they get the ball every time and inside the 35? I don't get it. I have to go back and watch the highlights now. I'm interested.
Yeah, when you look at it, the time of possession was they even lost the time of possession. Tennessee had the ball for 35 minutes and 37 seconds. Detroit had the ball 24 minutes, 23 seconds.
I can't help but feel that any time that you have Mason Rudolph throwing for almost 40 times, it's an appetite for destruction there, man. It's not going to be good.
Look, Tennessee won the time of possession. Tennessee had more first downs, 23-17.
There's no first downs to be had. Like I said, they got the ball.
Total yards. Tennessee had 416 yards to Detroit's 225.
I got to go back and watch this game now.
Penalties, though. Tennessee had 8 penalties, 60 yards. Lions had 3 for 29. 4 turnovers, though, for Tennessee. That's what's going to do it right there for you. And it sounds like they turned the ball over more in
their
Lions
own
territory. Yeah,
in their own territory. That's got to be it. That's got to be what happened.
Short fields, yeah.
Them coming out just making a statement, man. I mean, Tennessee moves to 1-6, and Detroit is 6-1 now in the season.
At least,
I mean, I agree. I agree. Detroit's one of the top teams in the league right now, man. They, we'll see how good Jared Goff is come playoff time. But my biggest concern is I'm hoping and praying that that Detroit doesn't go out and make some huge splash before the trade deadline.
Yeah, they don't need to.
They don't need to. Hold on, though. You guys have been bringing this up for weeks now and saying that you don't believe in Green Bay. I'm telling you right now, if there's a team I don't believe in that's real, it's not the Vikings. I think the Vikings are right where they should be. I think they won those games. They played easy teams at the beginning. I think the Lions, we've all heard this statement in sports, no matter what sport it is, baseball, basketball, football. I think when it comes to the Lions, and deservedly right, I think the ball is just bouncing in their favor, in their way. I think so, man.
I think
they're winning. They're winning too big for that, man.
Yeah,
they're winning too big because the ball's constantly bouncing their way.
Man, I don't know.
I can go ahead.
I'm just putting it out there. Look, you guys are 99% almost right. I'm 1%. I'm just saying, if it turns, I want to bring that up later on and say, hey, I told you so.
Okay, let's go over this.
I understand that you have a lot of family that are Lions fans and you probably catch a lot of hell, but they're a good team, bud.
Let's go over this. I'll shoot over who they beat real quick, because the Lions are 6-1. They beat the Rams. All right, but they beat the Rams the first game of the season when they had both their receivers. All right, so they got a 26-20 win over the Rams. They only lost the season was a 16-20 defeat to Tampa Bay, second game of the season. Lions came out and won 20-13 over the Cardinals. Lions came out and won 42-29, giving the Seahawks their first loss. Then they came out and just beat down on the Cowboys 47-9. Then they gave the Vikings their first loss of the season, 31-29. Come out and get a 52-14 win over the Titans. Like these, they're beating teams that were good teams.
But the strength of their everything is they got 2 badass running backs. You shut down that run game, they're going to get exposed.
Let's not forget that the last 2 games they played without their top defensive guy.
No, I agree. But this game was an anomaly.
And that's what I'm talking about, though.
This game was an anomaly.
I don't know. I think, like I said, and
you're playing a weak team. They turn the ball over in their own side of the field. I don't see it, guys. I've watched them play. I have watched these guys play. The running game is phenomenal.
Yeah,
they got a good offensive line.
But they've also shown that they can win because of their defense. They've also shown that
they can win.
You know,
They have multi ways. That is not
But
a
these
flash
points-
in the pan. That is not.
These points that they're
Bounce the
putting
ball.
up is bouncing the ball.
Nah, man.
I don't know.
That's they're able to score with their quarterback. They're able to score with the receivers. They're able to score with the running backs. They can score with their defense. They can score with their.
I'd have to check their red zone numbers to determine that, but they look good, man.
They do look good, and they got a good coach. But I'm telling you, they can be exposed. Shut that running game down and see what they look like.
Yeah. Well, that's just saying that Jared Goff's not a very good quarterback. Then, if you shut their running game down, then they become one sided.
They score 406 on average.
Who's the better quarterback out of Stafford and Goff?
Stafford's got the Hall of Fame numbers, that's for sure. But
why'd they trade for him?
Why'd who trade for him?
They
The
switched
Rams.
teams. They switched quarterbacks.
That's all they did. But the Rams are the one that did the trade.
No, there was a lot of draft picks involved in that.
Yeah, but on the Lions side, the Rams took the quarterback instead of they got rid of their quarterback to take the other quarterback and gave up picks.
Yeah.
In this,
Golf went and sought after. We'll see what hey, like I said, a lot of football left to be played, fellas.
but the
Shut the
I mean,
running game down. Let's see what you guys are really made of.
Golf to me reminds me of Alex Smith, man. He's kind of resurgent. He's resurgent his career. He was a number 1 overall pick. Like,
I think both of these guys brought their careers back. Stafford and Golf when they moved. Stafford ended up winning a Super Bowl there. But when you look at Detroit, all right, they have put up points per game, 33.4. That might lead the NFL.
Sure, it does.
Total points, they put up 234 points in 7 games. That's impressive. 29 touchdowns. Their opponents have only scored 14 touchdowns. They're putting up 400.
You can throw all these stats at me that you want, and I agree with all of them. And you and D'Lo could be on the same page. I'm just not. You guys, I think the Packers are more real deal than what you guys think. I think the Lions are less of a deal than what you guys think. We'll just see how it plays out.
But offensively, they're putting up less offensive plays than their opponents. All right. But they got more yards, and it's by almost 400 yards more, but they're running less plays. They're on average, it's 406 yards offensively a game. That's impressive.
Yeah. Why is that? Why are they getting more yards per play, way more yards per play than another team?
But they're getting more penalties. They got more penalties than their opponents. 50. They got 50.8 is their. Oh no, that's something. They got 50 penalties for 448 yards compared to 42 for 334 yards to their opponents.
There's only one. There's 2 explanations for that. One, they are driving the ball downfield or having massive run plays, which I know they've had massive run plays. And the other thing is the ball's bouncing in their favor.
I think that they're just overall a good football team.
I think they are a good football team. I am not saying that at all. I just think that they're better than what we think they are because the ball has been bouncing in their favor. We all know that shit does not happen the whole season. So
they've done it so far.
All
right, let's get on to. We talked enough about the damn Lions. On to the next one. We had Atlanta getting a 31-26 win over Tampa Bay. And in this game, Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, 276 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was only sacked twice. Running the ball, Bijan Robinson added 63 yards. And receiving, their top receiver was Kyle Pitts, 4 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mooney adding 4 more for 86 yards and 1 touchdown. But Bijan Robinson also added 7 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. When we go on Tampa Bay's side of the ball, Baker Mayfield having the season that he's having, he threw for 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he threw 2 interceptions. He was not sacked in the game, but he did throw the ball 50 times, completing 37 of them. They had no rushing there. Their leading rusher was Irving, running 44 yards on 9 attempts. Leading receiver, and they have no receivers. We talked about their top 2 are out. Their tight end, Autumn, 9 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. D'Lo, what's your thought on Atlanta going to 5-3 Tampa Bay moving to 4-4?
Atlanta's going to probably win that division. Kirk Cousins has unlocked Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. Them boys are all looking a lot better this year. Tampa Bay, dude, I feel sorry for Baker, man. He's going to be in for a rough go at it for a little bit, man. Until
number-wise, I think he's probably second in the league in passing.
Yeah, but dude, when you're passing the ball 50 times, dude, that means
That's
how many times?
Disaster.
Yeah.
They ran the ball.
You shouldn't be throwing the ball 50 times in an NFL game. I don't give a shit what year you're in.
Well, in this game, Tampa Bay ran the ball 22 times. They had 102 yards total between everybody that ran the ball. And yet he still threw for 330 yards.
Sometimes yards don't add up, man. You got turnovers in there, down and distance. All that shit comes into play.
And we talked about this. When you throw the ball 50 times, you're going to have interceptions. And that's where the 2 interceptions came in. But I would say this is against two guys who
I think the Bucs are a legitimate team. Not saying they're terrible. I think the Falcons are a good team, and like D'Lo said,
it's a division rivalry too.
Cousins has unlocked something.
But I think Baker Mayfield, had he had both of his receivers, do they win this game? They lost the first game.
I don't say they win it, but they.
What's he throw for then? If he has those two guys, what does Baker make? He threw without those two guys.
Maybe he throws for less.
Possibly, but I don't think so. I think he throws for
Maybe
more.
they leaned on that run game a little heavier, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think they have a run game.
I think
there.
he maybe throws for less, getting the completions that he needs, not necessarily throwing for more and being down and trying to. I mean, the score don't tell the story all the time, guys.
No, the stats, and sometimes the stats don't, because sometimes those are garbage yards.
Yes,
like towards
and
the
a
end.
lot of this one was.
But they only lost by 5. But division rivalry, it was going to be a close game anyway. They play tough against each other. I just feel like Baker Mayfield and Cousin, stat-wise, those guys got to be top 5 in the league in the quarterback position.
Hey, the guys are stat machines and losers.
You never hear that too often, but old Bennett comes up. They're stat machines, but also both of them?
Yeah, that's what I said. Both of them. Stat machines and losers.
Well,
somebody had to win.
That's right. Well, no, they didn't. They had a ties in the NFL.
Yeah.
You could have tied. But I guess in this instance, a tie is a loss. So, D'Lo, what's your opinion on this? You got anything else to add on this?
Nah, man. Like I said what I said. I feel sorry for Baker, and Kirk Cousins he's unlocked them other.
Baker's putting up numbers.
I feel sorry for Baker's paycheck. He got a very minimal contract.
No, he did not. He got paid big time in the offseason.
It was like $33 million.
Yeah, I think he only got like $20 million, dude. Like where everybody else is getting like $60 million and shit.
Yeah, he was underpaid for sure.
You guys keep talking. I'll look up his contract and tell you.
Look up the contract. Otherwise, we're going on to the next game.
Hold on.
No, we want to go on. You can bring that back up later on.
I got it right here. I'm pulling up his contract right now. I got to know his contract. You over here talking this
gibberish. And you're over there fucking blah, 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 bumping the motherfucking gums, son.
Baker Mayfield's contract is $100 million.
Yeah. For how many years?
3.
That's not bad. 33.
That's
30 million.
33.33.
I said 30 million.
But that's a good contract. 3 years to get a $100 million contract. That's
good for me.
I feel sorry.
It's not good for an NFL quarterback.
He's got this season in. He's got 2 more years. He gets to get another contract.
Hey, what's Watson's contract?
We're
not going to look that shit up.
Yeah, no.
Come on, let's move on to the next game. But I said 30 million.
Yeah, he was right. He was spot on. He was. All right. In the next one, we had a surprise here. I was the only one that took it between us. We had the Arizona Cardinals picking up a 28-27 victory over the Dolphins. Moves the Cardinals to 4-4. Moves the Dolphins to 2-5 on the season. Kyler Murray threw for 307 yards, 26 of 36. He had 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was not sacked. James Conner added 53 yards on 20 rushing attempts, 1 touchdown. Leading receiver was their tight end, Trey McBride, 9 catches, 124 yards, no touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr. finally showed up for a second time this year. 6 catches, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. For Miami side of the ball, Tua returning was 28 of 38 for 234 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 1 time. Surprising he didn't leave the game for that 1 sack. Their running back, what is that? I could never pronounce his name. Was that Achane?
Achane.
A chain or something?
I think he has a brother that's in college playing right now. But he ran the ball 10 times, 97 yards, no touchdowns. Raheem Morrison added 9 more carries for 19 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leading receiver, Tyreek Hill bouncing back from that 1 catch for 5 yards last week. He added 6 receptions, 72 yards, no touchdowns. But the running back added 6 more catches, 50 yards, and another touchdown. D'Lo, what do you take? Cardinals and Dolphins. What do you take from this?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna make a request that Phil take a name enunciation class. He's terrible at this shit.
It's worse with the USC.
It's terrible.
You said that last week.
But no, man, the Dolphins definitely look better with Tua back. They allowed the Cardinals to come back on them, but I don't know. I think that if they're going to make any kind of run, it requires Tua being in there. So,
all right, Bennett, what's your take on this?
I really thought the Dolphins were going to pull us through with Tua coming back. Look at that! Look at those numbers: 28-38. Yeah, dude is proficient completion percentage.
Yeah,
they got the weapons. Defense has lacked. But the Dolphins are bad, and the Cardinals are
4-4.
Like I was getting ready to say, not so bad.
You guys play them this week. The Bears and Cardinals play this week.
But man, the Cardinals sometimes they beat teams that they shouldn't, and they lose the teams that they shouldn't. So maybe
Will you guys be getting with your guys?
Are they the shouldn't team?
I have one question real quick.
Or if you were pronouncing it, the shouldn't team.
Will you two be watching the game this week with your nephew Brock?
No, fuck Brock.
D'Lo?
What was you asking there?
I said, will you guys be watching the Bears Cardinals game this week with your nephew Brock?
Nah, fuck Brock. He's the enemy this week, man.
That's what I said next week. I already told him because next week's game is the Jets and Cardinals. I said, don't try talking to me at work. I'm not bringing you no drinks like I normally do. Fuck you, we're mortal enemies.
And if he tries to be pulling that bullshit of choking me out and shit, dude, I'll just stab him, dude.
He will, though. I seen him do it at the concert. He was definitely going to choke out a dude that was fucking, I don't know what, 6 to 7 inches taller than him and had weight on him, and Brock didn't care. And in fact, dude, I've never seen somebody take the palm of their hand and fucking blast somebody with it and say, what you going to do, motherfucker?
What? I've seen that move done 1,000 times.
Not by Brock, who's quiet, good.
No, I was talking about me. I taught Brock that move.
Shit.
I used to do it to my ex-girlfriend all the time.
Moving on.
I never we here at Worst Case Scenario do not condone doing fist palms to your wife or girlfriends.
Or any other human being. Right?
No, there's some. That dude deserved it. That dude was like, he tried to pump Brock, and Brock was like, and Brock looked up at him, and Brock was like, what you gonna do, motherfucker? And I was like,
it gave him a cheap master.
The way that the dude,
all right, let's keep moving, man. I gotta go to the store.
We're talking about cheap mastery here.
Nah, D'Lo's trying to be smart. We've already been doing this for 48 minutes. So, all right. So, nothing else left on this game you guys want to go over?
Nope. No. Marvin Harrison looked good again.
You both gave a big fuck you to Brock on watching the poor game with him, and he looks up to you guys. That's awesome. Way to go, guys.
Catch you next week, Brock.
We love him. Yeah, we'll catch you. We'll catch you when your team beats the Jets.
No, they won't, though. Now, why are you going to start that shit?
Who?
All right. On to the next game. In a surprise, and we had all went with the Ravens in this game. For whatever, however, we never get shit like this. But the Browns come out with a 29-24 victory over the Ravens, who had not lost. They started out the season 0-2 and then had rebounded and went on a 5-game winning streak. Somehow, they end up dropping it to the Browns after they lost their quarterback, their number one receiver, and yet the Ravens lose this game. Now, in this game, for Baltimore, Jackson had 289 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times. He was 23 of 38. Henry, a down game, we would say, for him. He only ran the ball 11 times for 73 yards, 1 touch. Jackson, surprisingly, only had 46 yards, no touchdowns. Leading receiver, Say Flowers, he caught 7 catches, 115 yards, no touchdowns. For the Browns, the unlikely winners of this game, Jameis Winston came in 27 of 41, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. Chubbs added 52 yards on 16 carries. And their leading receiver was a guy that I've never heard of. Please tell me if either one of you guys had it. Cedric, not the entertainer, but Tillman, 7 catches, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. Boys,
I'm just curious. I'm just curious if you pronounce that right.
Well, it's not hard to fuck up Tillman, all right, or Cedric. D'Lo, what's your thought on this? This was a shocker. It had to be.
It was definitely a shocker, man. But I fully expected that that the offense is going to come to life a little bit with Jameis behind there.
No, you did not. Be honest.
No, for sure. Compared to what fucking
dude, he is the 100% definition of a gunslinger, dude. That dude don't give a fuck if it's triple coverage.
I'm not saying that.
He's
I'm saying compared to Watson. Watson's a
okay. They trade away Amari Cooper.
You can't do any worse.
They trade away Amari Cooper. No, who was their leading?
What
receiver?
I'm saying is,
who, in your opinion, you don't know who Tillman is. Who is their
leader?
I've
never heard
for the Browns. You would say.
They still got Jerry Jeudy. So I figured that'd probably be who it was.
Gross.
He had 5 catches, 79 yards. Elijah Moore, former Jet, had 8 catches, 85 yards.
Gross.
Tight end, Njoku, 5 catches, 61 yards, 1 touchdown.
Decent.
But I do not agree. The Browns trash, but yet they get their second win of the season. They move to 2-6, and Baltimore drops to 5-3. Bennett, tell us.
I don't know if I'm having deja vu or if I'm thinking back back in the day, like maybe in the late 90s or something. I've heard of Cedric Tillman before. Heard of him.
You heard of Pat Tillman?
No, I've heard of Cedric Tillman before.
Cedric the Entertainer?
No, Cedric fucking Tillman. I don't know if there was a guy back in the 90s named Cedric Tillman.
Ain't nobody ever heard of Cedric Tillman.
I'm telling you, I heard the name. And when I heard it, I wasn't shocked. And like I said, Watson getting out of there, the best thing could happen to him. Jameis Winston, like D'Lo said, gunslinger.
What's Watson's first name?
Deshaun.
Okay. Watson, Winston. It's an easy fix on the back of the jersey.
But maybe at the end of the day, guys, it was a rivalry game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be close, like you brought up.
But they're trash. Browns are trash.
They were. Maybe it's a culture change.
I would say they're back.
I didn't say that.
But these are the. But D'Lo.
But I did say it's a culture change without fucking Watson leaving the locker room. Jameis Winston, everybody, no matter what he's ever done, say he's an awesome human being and he's a
what?
Awesome.
Nobody ever said that when he was at Florida State. He got in charge of that rape scandal.
Pat McAfee said that.
Yeah, nobody would say he's an awesome human being. But
Pat McAfee actually said those.
D'Lo, please, these are the numbers that I think that the Cleveland Browns fans expected out of Deshaun, not out of Winston, right?
He's a leader.
I mean, when you pay a guy a guaranteed $236 million, yeah, you expect some decent numbers out of him. But
or maybe just to go buy a house and a couple cars and just fucking leave the organization.
Get a few more massages. I'm still waiting for my lawsuit to go through on him.
Yikes.
You guys
been hanging out at the Diddy parties, ain't you?
Hey, listen, I got lawsuits pending, baby. And D'Lo, you are king of that shit. You jump in on any. You tried saying you was at Camp Lejeune, and you got cancer from the water. This dude is sued. This dude has jumped in on lawsuits with Verizon, with whatever. He's like, I got touched. He does not deny that. D'Lo's like, please pay me.
Hey, dude, back in the day, them Catholic priests and them Boy Scouts, boy, they got me.
You ain't never been a Boy Scout or Catholic.
He's been an altar boy, though.
Like an alternate boy.
All right, we'll move on. We had the Texans getting a 23-20 win over division rival Indianapolis. And in this game, Richardson was 10 of 32, 175.
Hey, let's stop. We don't need to go through anything else. Let's go through what we all know and what we saw. Comments, D'Lo.
What's the
I'll tell you
Richardson?
No, we don't want to know
Richardson.
stats. Do you know about the game? If not, I'm going to.
Yeah. I know all about it. Yeah. So what are you asking?
Don't need stats to talk about the game and what happened.
No, I'm not talking any stats. If you're asking me about the Colts, Richardson took himself out of the game because he said he was tired.
It is that.
It's Flacco time. It's Flacco time.
I told him to go back in. Turn your ass around, go back in, and be a man.
Yeah, dude. You're earning millions of dollars. You're a first-round draft pick. You turn your fucking ass around and you go back in. I'm sorry, Chad. I didn't mean to cuss on that one, but
hey, Chad, fuck you.
We love you, Chad.
We do love you, Chad, but fuck you. I didn't know
he's one of our main supporters. Bring him up. Can't even listen to what's kids in the car.
I know because I understand. I don't want to have a lot of cuss words when my daughter's in the car either. She's 10. How old's your daughter?
20.
Yikes, Chad.
He's a major fan of ours. He's telling you that he loves you right now, bud.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got the chains around her. Gotta let her fly, bro.
No, you got to keep her away from people like Gary Bennett.
Trust me, that girl's smart enough to know not to come anywhere close to people like me.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead, D'Lo.
I don't even know what we're talking about here.
Richardson with the fucking tap out. The Colts losing. Texas winning, being top of the division. Divisional game. It was the game on the line. Whoever won would be the division leader. But the Colts, they didn't play bad. The Texans didn't play good. It was a 23-20 game. But at the end of the game, when the game's on the line, the fucking quarterback gives the fucking tap on the helmet and says, I need to come out. I'm tired.
He's not the man in Indy. Let's be honest.
You don't have to fucking do anything next play. Just run the ball. Hand it off.
Well,
how much does that wear you out?
Jonathan Taylor was 20 rushing attempts, 105 yards, and 1 touchdown. Leading receiver was Josh Downs, 4 receptions, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. Richardson did have 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. He was also sacked 5 times. C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, was 25 of 37, 285 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked twice. Mixon added 102 yards on 25 attempts and a touchdown on the ground. And Stephon Diggs was the leading receiver, 5 catches, 81 yards. He did not have a touchdown.
He's out for the season too, by the way.
Well, he's on IR.
No, he's fucking done. Derek came out and said he's done.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's done.
D'Lo, what's your opinion on this?
Texans haven't lived up to what they were expected to. I figured they'd come out and beat the shit out of the Colts. The Colts have a horrible run defense, things like that. But I don't know, man.
They have been better
I don't know.
With Flacco in there.
The Colts, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They're gonna be a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, they're named Flacco starter for the rest of the season.
I don't think they said the rest of the season, did they?
Going for the exact statement was going forward, Flacco's a starter.
Well, Indy moved to 4-4. The Texans dropped to 6-2, which now we know they're 6-3. But
hey, hypothetical. Who would you rather have as your quarterback right now? Flacco or Rodgers?
Rodgers.
D-Lo?
Flacco.
Caleb Williams or Flacco?
Flacco for sure.
Over Caleb Williams?
Yes. Yes, Flacco over Caleb Williams.
Hey, we didn't ask you, bitch. You answered your
Yeah, I tend to agree right now. Yeah, probably.
You know what?
You can't say that over Rodgers. Rodgers has put up.
No, I totally say it over fucking Rodgers. Fuck you. But what I was getting ready to say, over probably 30 teams in the NFL after what Flacco did last year. Flacco? Yeah, probably Flacco. I wouldn't like to do that for the Bears. I like my rookie quarterback, but sitting behind Flacco and chilling for a year and learning some stuff, maybe Flacco. I don't think Caleb Williams would play bad, but Flacco.
He's got a ring. He's got a ring.
He didn't get a fucking ring. Their defense got a ring, and he fucking
Flacco got a ring.
Yeah.
His numbers were a lot better than the previous quarterback.
Flacco is better now than he was fucking 5 years ago.
D-Lo, who was the quarterback for Baltimore when they won it the first time with Ray
Dilfer.
Lewis?
It was goddamn
Trent
Dilfer.
Dilfer, yeah.
And his numbers were a lot better for Baltimore. They actually threw the ball a lot more when Flacco won the Super Bowl. He won it.
No shit. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Flacco's not talented. I'm just saying he's better now than he was 10 years ago. You guys
he's more reliable.
Yeah. I actually called and talked to you guys about this. Sorry to get off subject, but we're going to do this for just a second. I actually called and talked to you guys about this. When that rookie, I believe it was the rookie quarterback draft class, and Flacco came out. They did a quarterback thing, drill.
A quarterback thing.
All kinds of whatever, running obstacles and all that shit. Flacco was phenomenal. And I called one of you and told you about it. He was putting the fucking ball 40 yards downfield, like within like a fucking hole that made for a football. He was putting it in the fucking hole. No one else did that. They were hitting the net and getting points, but he was putting it in the fucking hole.
Yeah. Delaware's finest. That's all I can say. But let's go ahead and move on, because nobody gives a fuck about what the hell you're talking about. We had the Chargers picking up a 26-8 victory over the Saints. I'm pretty sure the Saints started out 2-0 this year and have dropped 6 games straight. The Chargers moved to 4-3 in this game. Spencer Rattler had 156 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked 3 times, 12 of 24. Jake Hinner, whatever his name is, went 9 for 17, 122 yards. For the rushing, Gamora added 67 yards on 10 attempts, and their leading receiver was Chris Olave.
I wasn't going to hit you on the person. I'm going to hit you on this. Oh, dude, did you watch SportsCenter? They pronounce it right all the time.
Yeah.
Olave.
8 receptions, 107 yards, no touchdowns. On the Chargers side of the ball, Herbert, who is having, like, this is a guy that put up numbers.
It's a bear.
It's Herbert. 20 of 32.
Almost got it.
279 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, no picks. Dobbins ran the ball 17 times, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Herbert adding 49 yards on the ground. Leading receiver was Lad McConkey, added 6 receptions, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I heard great things about that kid before the season started.
D'Lo,
yeah, sure.
This was Hardball and the Chargers coming out, making a statement win over a team that in the very beginning we were like, shit, Saints are for real, but they lost their quarterback. They lost their smile, as Shawn Michaels did back in 1997, 98. What's your thoughts on this game, D'Lo?
It was as we expected it to be.
Fuck you. You go.
You want one?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, D'Lo.
But anyway, The Saints get oh boy back this week, Derek Carr. So they should look a little bit better, but I think Dennis Allen's probably gonna be fired at the end of the year.
There's another.
Good.
No,
What do you
now
think,
hold on. I tend to agree with you about that, but at the same time, I don't think it's total talent that's setting them back. I think it might be coaching. You think
So
that?
I mean, what are you thinking it is?
I just don't. I don't know, man. The Saints don't seem like they got the what they're doing with the coaching going on. That their offensive game plan is what I'm trying to say, basically. Like when they had Carr, they was doing things one way. When they lost Carr, I understand that you lost a quarterback, but don't go away from your game plan. Maybe
I think they've been forced to, dude. I don't know if you've watched any games under
that's
Spencer.
what I was getting to say. Maybe change it up a little bit. But don't go away from your winning ways. Maybe just change it up to the quarterback and the situation.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Spencer Rattler, the first week that Carr was out, they realized that they had to rely a lot more on Kamara, and Kamara hasn't come through, and so then they tried to unleash Rattler a little bit, and dude, he's been terrible, man. I mean, he's just not good. So that's why that other guy got thrown in this last week, that Hanky or whatever his name is.
Heineke? Was it Heineke?
No, it was another rookie, man. This kid, I think he was out of like Ole Miss, or I can't remember where he was out of, but yeah, it was another rookie. So they've now started 2 rookies.
Holy shit! I was not aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some of these guys, which I hope don't happen, should go on the trade block and help out the Bears and get for picks. I mean, maybe they go after Bagent.
I mean, is that something you're comfortable with doing though, man? Like,
no, I don't want to lose Bagent. I don't want to lose Bagent, but I'm saying you might be able to get some picks out of this motherfucker. This kid's not going to stay with the Bears for another 2 years and sit behind.
No, I think his contract's actually up after this season, man.
Yeah, and I love this kid.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Williams, then I totally. If it wasn't, I don't give a fuck if it was for Williams. I would support this kid.
So what do you think's going to happen with him? Do you think somebody's going to give him probably like a mid-range deal to come in and compete for a starting job, or what?
That's the best that you could think of.
Yeah.
At worst, they might get like a 5 to 7, but
well, I mean, but you look at Dallas right now, dude. You look at Dallas, and they just guaranteed Dak all that money, man. But fucking, he's having an epic collapse this year, dude. Like his numbers ain't where they should be.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you get paid a lot of money. It seems like.
Look at Conor McGregor, huh, Phil?
Yikes.
Conor McGregor's made his money, man. It's hard to hate on him, dude.
No,
that's what Phil. That's what Bennett was saying.
The worse he produces.
It's harder to get up in the morning when you have $100 million in your bank account and go running for a fight.
I agree. I wouldn't know about that. You wouldn't know about that. But I'm just saying, the more money you make, seems like the less you perform.
Oh, allegedly.
It just coincides.
Well, let's get back on this.
Let's do the next game.
Yes, we had Buffalo going and getting a 31-10 win over the Seahawks, moving Buffalo to 6-2, dropping Seattle to 4-4. For Buffalo, Allen was 24 of 34 for 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked once. Leading rusher Cook unleashing 111 yards on 17 carries for 2 touchdowns. Leading receiver For Buffalo, Shakir, 9 catches, 107 yards, while Coleman added 5 catches, 70 yards, a touchdown. Their newly acquired receiver, Amari Cooper, added 1 catch, 3 yards. For Seattle, we had Geno Smith going 21 to 29, 212 yards. He threw no touchdowns.
Didn't Amari get a touchdown, though?
In his first game, not this past week.
Oh, okay.
Geno Smith did throw 1 interception. He was sacked once. Geno Smith was the leading rusher, 5 carries, 16 yards. As a whole, Seattle only ran the ball 17 times, 32 yards, 1 touchdown.
Like we said, recipe for disaster.
Leading receiver for Seattle was Smith
and Jigba.
Thank you. 6 catches, 69 yards, no touchdowns.
Got to come in and help him out there, bud.
I appreciate Neil. I didn't know what he's talking about. Let me start off.
Go ahead. Gladly.
Seahawks are not a bad team, but they continue to be they go against other good teams, and I mean this is what you get. They don't play at the highest level when they're playing better teams. Buffalo, maybe they're starting to come on a little bit, like I said with the Eagles. Maybe they're starting to come on a little bit. See what these guys can do. Josh Allen is still fucking Josh Allen. I don't care what anyone says. And
top 5 quarterback in the league.
He don't have the receivers that he had at one time, but give Josh Allen some time. Give Buffalo a little bit of time. They might figure this out, guys.
They traded for Amari Cooper, so I mean they got a guy, you know.
Amari Cooper. I'm not sold on Amari.
No, I agree, man. He's kind of
so much. I mean, he's like
he's
one of our
he's long in the tooth too, I think, man.
Jessica.
I can't bring up Jessica. I can bring up Vicky.
Not Vicky even. Who's your goddamn, we're starting to name off names.
Yeah, let's not name off names. Just
Lindsay.
Former girlfriends is what we're saying.
Yes. Now, Dealer was more shocked is that the receivers for Seattle, Tyler Lockett had 1 catch, 9 yards. Who's their other receiver up there? Who's that other?
DK Metcalf went out with an injury.
Okay, he was out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Smith and Jigba was drafted high, and he kind of hasn't taken that, and part of that's because DK's been the guy. But I mean,
no, but they drafted in Jigba because of Lockett's age.
Yeah, but they still use Lockett as their down the field burner, man.
Because Lockett's produced and the Jigba has not.
Yeah, I agree, man. This game was kind of to be expected. I feel a lot about Seattle like I do about Green Bay, man. I think they played up.
God damn it.
They're kind of lacking in talent, and they played up more than they've played at their own level. You know what I mean? And so, I don't really respect a whole lot. I feel like Geno's a game manager. He's not a game winner. So,
D'Lo.
Yeah.
You brought up that you haven't done too much research. You've been going off the cuff this year. I as well have done the same thing. So I will do the same thing. I'm going to give you a homework assignment after today. Let's go back at 5 teams you think's good, 5 teams you think's horrible. Go back and look at the past games and who they played and look at their records. And that's it. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to look at yards or anything like that. Go back, look at the top 5 teams that you think. I'll look at the top 5 teams I think. Bottom 5. Look at their records. Look who they played. And let's see what we come up with. We might come up with a different story next week.
We might. Yeah, for sure.
Phil, on the other hand, I'm not going to give him the homework assignment because he's completely fucking biased. He loves.
He would hand you a list. He would hand you a list back the top 5 teams that he would think were great were Jets.
Well, not only that,
Dylon.
exactly, and not only that, you would not
He
be able
spits
to
hot fire.
you would not be able to pronounce any of the names in English because Phil had wrote them backwards in his fucking handicap.
Dyslexic.
Dyslexic motherfucker.
You're on a different dyslexic.
All right, well, Bennett is dragging on today, so let's go ahead and move to the game that you guys really do want to talk about. Washington getting an 18-15 victory over your guys, Chicago Bears, dropping the Bears down to 4-3. Washington moves to 6-2. We all know what happened at the end of that game with the Hail Mary pass.
We don't need stats.
We do need stats. People out there want to hear it.
Your star. No, we don't need stats. They're taking up too much time.
That you want to talk about was 10-24, 131 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 3 times. Swift controlled the game for you guys, 18 carries, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. And Rome Odunze.
Oh, my fucking God.
No, we're going to let him go with that one.
All right. On the Commanders side, which, let's be honest, Commanders, they should have won this game. They should not have had to win this game on a Hail Mary. The Bears did stay in with us. But on Washington's side of the ball, Daniels, 21-38, 326 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked twice. Robinson Jr. running the ball 16 times, 65 yards, no touchdowns. And Terry McLaurin, 5 catches, 125 yards, no touchdowns. Boys, tell me, how did the Bears lose this game?
Well, I mean, bad coaching played a big factor in this one. Also, when your players are doing stupid shit, I believe that our head coach has lost the locker room. When your players are out on the field, the game is on the line, and they're out there taunting the fans. That's shit you do when the discipline has gone out the window, man. Like, the thing about it is, as much as Caleb Williams, I've told Bennett this a couple times this year. I don't believe that the Bears are playing good under the scripted plays. Caleb Williams looked like shit the whole first half. And the second half, when it was off the cuff, he was doing things instinctually. He looked a lot better. And it wasn't scripted. He looked a lot better, man. So, I mean, we had the chance. The Hail Mary was a heartbreaker, but I put a post on Facebook and said, when you don't deserve to win the game, you get the football gods serve you with a Hail Mary with 0 seconds left on the clock. I mean, it's just one of those things, man, that as much of a heartbreaker as the Hail Mary pass was, losing the game, we really should have lost the game. I mean, in all aspects. So, it is what it is, man, but we've got to turn some shit around, and they need to understand that the Eberflus needs to go. Eberflus and his whole staff. Waldron. It
sounds like a Jet Up Bear Down podcast.
We'll go deeper. We'll go deeper into that when we have time for that. But
I would like to ask Bennett this. I said, Bennett, as much as I'll talk shit about the Bears, they're a surprising team. They've won games this year. Going into this game, they were 4-2. All right, not a bad team. Yeah. They're not a bad team with a rookie.
No, we're still above 500.
Bennett, in your eyes, what cost you this game?
God damn it! I can tell you exactly what cost the fucking game.
In short notice, we gotta move on. But tell us what.
Yeah, we gotta fly
this game.
Look, man, inconsistency, bad coaching, and not holding your motherfuckers accountable, not using your timeouts when you have them. Don't look, dude. If you got fucking 3, 2, 1 timeouts, you're at the end of the game. Call one. I don't give a fuck if it's a fucking field goal. This is coaching 101. Pop fucking water. Pop fucking water. last seconds of the game, you call a timeout. Make sure you got your guys on the same page.
I love watching. We got the TV set up. We are watching Bennett going nuts on TV here. I love it.
Look, call a fucking timeout. Get your guys on the same page. That's it.
All right.
Guess what happens at the end of the day? A fucking W. West Side, motherfucker.
Sorry, Chad, for the cussing. All right, we're going to move on to the next game. We'll talk more about the Bears game. We'll talk more about the Jets later on. We had the Broncos, who D'Lo, in the beginning, he laughed at us when we said that defense is real. This is a good team. This is after they beat the Jets. It was not a, hey, this is an excuse on why the Jets lost.
I did my research.
Yes.
I looked into it.
But I told you then.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is no joke. This shit's real. Broncos come out and get a 28-14 win over Carolina, moving Carolina to 1-7 and just another inch closer to the number 1 draft pick. Meanwhile, Denver, who D'Lo you didn't believe in, moves to 5-3. The only team in their way right now, out of everything, is the Chiefs in that division. All right. When we go to the stats, Bryce Young returning after being benched, 24-37, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 2 sacks. Hubbard ran the ball 15 times, 56 yards, no touchdowns. The number 1 receiver, I don't know this guy. Maybe you guys have. Jalen Coker, 4 receptions, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. And when we go to the Denver side of the ball, we had Bo Nix throwing 28 of 37, 284, 3 fucking touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked twice. Leading rusher was
McLaughlin,
8 times, 47 yards. Even though Javonte,
even the ones that are not that hard, he struggles on, man.
Shut up. Javonte Williams ran the ball 17 times, 44 yards.
It's in English, motherfucker.
Leading receiver was Courtland Sutton, 8 catches, 100 yards, no touchdowns. D'Lo, do you believe in the Broncos?
I still don't. They're one of those that have been playing up, their defense is okay. Bo Nix isn't. But yeah, it's one of those deals. So we'll see how it plays out, but I don't believe in them.
All right, Bennett, your opinions on this game?
You know what? I don't believe in the Broncos either. I believe what you said last week. I believe in that. But as far as the playoff team goes,
they're there.
I know, but the record does not specify what they are.
So you're saying the record doesn't show how piss poor they are?
I didn't say.
How far into this are we, guys? I got some shit I got to get done. So, where are we at? How many more games we got?
We got just a few. We got, I think, 3.
All right.
Anything else to add on this game?
No, I mean, other than no, we don't want to hold D'Lo back from his dog getting his leg cut off.
All right, we'll head on to the next game. The Kansas City Chiefs moving on 7-0. They picked up another win, 27-20 over the now 2-6 Las Vegas Raiders. And in this game, Mahomes was 27 of 38, 262, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked once. Hunt ran the ball 21 times, 59 yards, and a touchdown. And Kelsey was the number 1 receiver, 10 receptions, 90 yards, 1 touchdown. For the Raiders, we had Gardner Minshew returning 209 yards, 2 touchdowns on 24 of 30 passing. He was sacked 5 times. He had no help from the rushing, as their leading rusher was Mattinson, 14 carries, 15 yards, 1.1 yards average a carry. The leading receiver was Brock Bowers, 5 receptions, 58 yards. Jacoby Myers pitched in 6 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Chiefs roll. Bennett, thoughts on this game?
Raiders are shitty. Chiefs are decent. Got good coaching versus, I wouldn't necessarily say bad coaching, but you got to get something more out of your offense.
D'Lo, what's your thoughts on this game, bud?
Pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to be. Chiefs roll on the Raiders. I seen that Antonio Pierce came out this week and defended Luke Getsy, which is one of those things you got to do when he's your offensive coordinator. You got to continue to defend his terrible fucking play calling. You know what I mean? So, just one of those deals, man. The Raiders are not good. So,
all right,
I feel sorry for Max Crosby getting stuck in his prime years in a place where he's not got a chance in hell to win. So,
yeah, no future quarterback there, no running game. It's a lose-lose.
I mean, they traded away their best receiver for what, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so.
All right, we'll move on to what was the Sunday night game. San Francisco getting a 30-24 win over the Cowboys, moving the Niners to 4-4. Dallas dropped to 3-4. In this game, Purdy, 18-26, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, sacked twice. Their leading rusher, man, I know you guys can't wait for me to pronounce this, Isaac Guerrero, 14 carries, 85 yards, 1 touchdown. Purdy added 8 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Leading receiver for San Francisco, Kittle, 6 catches, 128, 1 touchdown, with Deebo Samuel adding 4 catches for 71 yards. On Dallas side of the ball, Prescott, 25 for 38, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 times sacked. They could not get the ball rolling on the ground when Ezekiel Elliott is your leading rusher at 10 attempts, 34 yards, 1 touchdown. Dallas lead receiver, CeeDee Lamb, 13 catches, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. D'Lo, tell me what you thought about this game.
Yeah, I mean, the Niners kind of surprised me. They've got some injuries, man, and so I was a little, I don't know. Dallas is one of those teams, man. You look across that roster and they got talent, but they're not living up to it, man. And so it's just one of those deals. But I love seeing Dallas lose. I have no problem with it. It's crazy to me because they got a talented roster, but it's just one of those deals, guys. Dallas is a mess this year, and I foresee some changes coming in Jerry World next year. So,
hey, Jerry, turn around. Jerry gonna turn around. He 92 years old. Jerry gonna turn around.
Jerry ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah. That motherfucker thinks he's drafting Night Train Lane next year. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit, picking up a name from the past. Anything left in this game, Bennett, from you?
That was.
I tell you what, though, man. One thing I wanna make a little early prediction real quick before we roll on. Either Shedeur Sanders is either going to be a New York Jet or a Dallas Cowboy, and I would not be surprised if that ends up being a package.
Dad coming with him.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. I would not be surprised if that's a package deal with his dad, and if that ends up being a package deal with his dad, the brother that's a safety will probably get drafted to there too. So it'll be a family affair.
All right. Let's go ahead and go to the Monday night game. Pittsburgh picking up a 26-18 win over the Giants. And in this game, Wilson, 20 of 28, 278, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. Harris running the ball 19 times, 114 yards, no touchdowns. Pickens, 4 catches, 74 yards, no touchdown as a leading receiver for the Steelers. For the Giants, Daniel Jones, 24 of 38, 264 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 4 times. And Tyrone, I'm not Bigums, Tracy Jr., running the ball 20 times, 145 yards, 1 touchdown for the Giants. And receiving, Darius Slayton catching 4 receptions, 108 yards, no touchdowns for the Giants. I'm shocked that the Steelers didn't win by more. D'Lo, what's your opinion on this game?
I mean, yeah, I figured that the Steelers were going to win this game. When you got Jamarcus Russell II on the other side of the ball there, just one of those things. So,
Bennett, any opinions on this game?
Steelers are a better team, and exactly what we thought was going to happen. And don't put this shit on Monday night no more.
Well, they should have the.
I agree. They should be flexing those games out.
Yeah, I agree. All right, boys, let's go ahead. That was week 8. We're focusing on week 9. And let's just be honest. The first game, we all knew I was going to take my Jets. We all knew you two was going to take the Texans.
Why would we think that? Because the Jets are goddamn horrible.
But we showed that we're not as bad as what you thought.
Cayenne pepper and water.
We ain't what you thought we were. All right, as D'Lo would say.
No, that's the gayest shit ever.
But D'Lo, we all assumed that you two would take the Texans. We all knew I would take the Jets. But in the second game this weekend, week 9, we got the Dolphins traveling to Buffalo. Who you got, D'Lo? You got the Bills. Do you have the Dolphins?
As good as the Dolphins look, like it's much better as they looked with
Hot Tui.
Yep, with Tua. I still believe Buffalo's going to win.
Bennett?
I wish I could meet that girl. I'd marry that good bitch.
All right. You starting to get drunk?
No. Bills Mafia.
Bills. All right. Next up, we have the Broncos traveling to the – oh, by the way, I took the Bills. We have the Broncos next up, traveling to the Ravens. I took the Ravens. Bennett, who you got? Ravens or Broncos? D versus D. Offense versus not so much of an offense.
Quit saying D versus D. No one likes that.
Okay, my bad, dog. Technical difficulties.
I'm going with Ravens. I do think the Broncos have a chance. I'm just going to go with the Ravens. Ravens are a better team.
Ravens.
I'm going with the Ravens as well. I think Derrick Henry will get back on track, and it'll be on. I don't think that Bo Nix can keep up with that Ravens offense.
True. Next up, we have the Chargers versus the Browns. I'm gonna use logic sense and say I'm gonna go with the Chargers, man. I don't. Browns got lucky last week. I don't think that they're gonna get lucky 2 weeks in a row. D'Lo, who are you taking here?
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think I'm going to take the Browns behind the wings of Jameis.
No, that's the wings of whatever you're smoking, you motherfucker.
Shit.
So you're taking the Browns in a shocking pick. Bennett, who you got?
I got Browns.
What? What happened to your boy Harbaugh?
He looked like shit this year.
That's good. All right. Next up, we got the Saints traveling to the Panthers. And guess what? Oh, Philly boy here, he went on a limb, and he took the Panthers. Bennett, who you got?
Did you pick the Browns?
Yeah, I took the Chargers on that.
What's that? Limb on the limb? What?
I went out on a limb.
And took the Panthers.
Yes.
Over who?
The Saints.
I told you, this motherfucker been drinking over the Browns.
I'm distracted over the goddamn microphone.
I took the Chargers over the Browns. Next up is Saints versus Panthers. I took the Panthers. Who you got? Saints. Who you got, D'Lo?
I'm taking the Saints, man. Derek Carr comes back this week. And I don't think that Dalton's going to be back this week, so I'm taking the Saints.
They don't need Dalton back anyway.
He's better than Bryce Young.
Debatable.
Next up, we got the Ravens traveling to the Bengals. I'll take the Bengals in this one. What you got, Bennett?
The Ravens.
What?
Who'd you say?
Not the Ravens. Raiders versus the Bengals.
Oh, your speech impediment got in the way. The Raiders.
You're taking
Right.
the Raiders over the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. D'Lo?
I'm taking the Bengals.
Okay. Logic right there. I was shocked that he said he's taking the Raiders. But all right, next up, we got the Commanders who just got freshly off defeating your Bears versus the Giants. I have taken the Commanders. Who you taking, Bennett?
Giants.
Hater. D'Lo?
What game is this?
Commanders versus the Giants.
I'm taking the Commanders for sure.
Bennett holds grudges, obviously. Next up, D'Lo, we got the Cowboys versus the Falcons. I took the Falcons. Who you taking, D'Lo?
Falcons.
Bennett?
Cowboys.
All right. Next up, the Patriots travel to Tennessee to play the Titans. I took the Titans. Who do you have, Bennett?
I got Titans.
D'Lo?
Titans.
All around a clean sweep. Next up, D'Lo, the Bears travel to Arizona to play my boy Brock's Cardinals. I have taken the Cardinals. I don't think.
Of course you did.
Who are you taking, D'Lo?
The Bears.
Bennett?
Cardinals.
I just want to bring that back. You taking the Cardinals over the Bears?
Yeah.
All right. D'Lo, next up, Jaguars take on the Eagles in Philadelphia. I took the Eagles. Who you taking?
Philly.
Bennett? Eagles. Next up, Lions take on the Packers in Green Bay. I'm taking the Lions. Who you taking, Bennett?
Lions.
D'Lo?
Lions.
All right. Next up, the Rams travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks. D'Lo, who you got?
Rams.
I took the Rams as well.
Give me the Rams.
Bennett's taking the Rams. All right. Next up, D'Lo, the Colts travel to Minneapolis to take on the Vikings. I'm taking the Colts in a surprise win here. Who are you taking?
The Vikings.
We'll ask Bennett when he comes back. Next up, D'Lo, we got the Bucks taking on the Chiefs in Monday night action. I'm taking the Chiefs. Who are you taking?
The Chiefs. Yep.
All right, I will get Bennett's when he come back. He had to go to the bathroom. D'Lo, let's talk real quick until he comes back. Let's talk a little IU football. What do you think about today's game, and who are you taking? You hear me, D'Lo? D'Lo. Are you there, Dustin?
Can you hear me?
What'd you say? I now I can. What'd you say?
I said IU's killing it. Notre Dame came through surprisingly last week. I thought Navy was going to hold up, but yeah, man, for sure. I got to get ready to go, man. But yeah, hopefully we got a good week of football coming up and shit like that. So,
but you take IU over Michigan State. Notre Dame's on the bye.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Rourke's back this week. Yeah, I definitely take IU. So,
all right, bud.
All right, brother. I'll holler at you guys, man.
Thank you, guys. This has been another edition of the Worst Case Scenario podcast. We'll see you next week.